don't think all police are bad, but from most of our interactions, though, from most of my interactions, they're not good. I know personally, like my uncle, he's not my blood uncle. He's the police chief in Hattiesburg. That's a good man. Like I could never imagine him doing anything to harm anybody, hurt anybody, do anything to anyone. However, I'm not gonna run into him because I'm not gonna be in Hattiesburg like that. But when I'm at home, the police I run into, a majority of them, they're not out trying to do anything good. In my opinion.
I just think it's like anything else, man. Like the bad stands out more than good. I honestly believe that there are more good cops than bad cops, but it's just the bad cops stand out more. It's just like with anything else in society. Some of us members of Greek organizations. If one member of your organization treated somebody the wrong way, she gonna think everybody, all your dogs. You know what I'm saying? Or that's how I go. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. Some people stereotype black people a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? All black people gonna do what the fuck we supposed to do all the time. And the ones who don't do it stand out more than the ones who do.
I want to say it's more good cops than bad cops, but then again, I think it's more so not the cops itself; it's the system.
Oh, definitely.
Very much so.
The training they receive is bad training.
Very much so.
And okay, let's go back a little bit. Back in the 60s and 70s, police officers actually police. You know, they used to have beat cops. I mean, they walked the beat. They walked in the community. The police officers knew the people that was in their communities. Now you have police officers that are in communities that they don't know nobody. They might know Ray because they out on the corner doing crazy shit. But the other people, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Smith, or whoever, they don't know them. You feel what I'm saying? It's like they're not taking the time to get to know and recognize the good people in their community. So that kind of puts me on the fence when I say is there really more good cops than bad cops? And then if that's the case, if it is more good cops than bad cops, why the good cops are not standing up and saying anything?
That was my question.
That's the point.
You know,
I think our problem is police culture. I think that's the biggest
that
issue.
blue line shit.
Yeah, it's the blue line shit. And I do believe it's more good cops than bad cops. When you constantly are seeing situation after situation repeat itself, and it's not, and no one's pointing out the bad cops or nobody's holding the bad cops accountable, that's the issue. And that stems from the police culture. They're not pointing out those bad cops. They're not holding those bad cops accountable because the police number one job is to protect and serve that community they're servicing.
And I just read a story a few minutes ago where one of the women, she's a police chief, I think in Florida, she knelt with protesters. Majority, I think they said all of the police officers that worked in her department resigned because they didn't agree with the fact that she knelt down. So then you go further into police culture where when you do try and do the right thing, when you try and uphold,
you get blackballed.
You end up in situations where it's like, I should have just kept. It's almost like they should have just kept their mouth shut. But in reality, they're doing the right thing and get messed over because of doing the right thing.
I'm gonna pick up on what these two brothers said. I do believe there are good cops out there, but the problem is the system. It's like if you look at a house, you know, the foundation is the key. You know, if you got a shitty foundation, but you use A1 products and materials, that house gonna fall.
It's still a
You know
shitty
what I'm
house.
saying? So all the foundation is based off of slavery. It's based off of oppression of black folks. So you can have great cops everywhere you go, but that shit still gonna fall because the foundation ain't key. We got to go back and we got to reconstruct the foundation. You know, and that goes back to what the comments I was saying before about, you know, we got to go back to the Constitution. We got to change all that shit. You know, if we don't do that, we're going to have the same issues over and over again.
Because it does blow my mind. The Constitution was written in 1776. Almost, what, 300?
It's 2020.
300 was 250 years ago.
That shit need to be revised.
You haven't gone back and like, you made it a paper after a day.
They make amendments to it all the time, but just the amendments that you make it to it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Already applicable.
But when they make amendments after the fact.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 2020, bro. Whatever the Constitution was based off of in 1776 don't apply
It's a
today.
whole new world.
It just don't apply. So you can't start amending a constitution.
Right.
The Constitution need to be rewritten.
Right.
Is it something written where they revisit the Constitution or go back and like edit it or something like that every few years?
10 years.
No, it has to be an amendment and then it has to be voted on.
Yeah.
But it's on a 10-year basis. I read somewhere it's like, I could be wrong, but I read somewhere where like it's on a 10-year basis, and it depends on the party that's in control. So if the party that's not for us is in control when that 10 years start coming out, they pushing forth their agendas and what they want.
But just think about that. You think about that, even if that is the case. I mean, if that is the case, just think about how right now it's still on paper that we 3/5 of the man. You know, why the hell is that shit even there? You know, that's why I say that shit need to be bombed and rewritten and just adjusted to the times that we're in right now.
That's what I'm
There's nothing we can do, though. If we can do all this shit up at the top, but if that fucking bottom is not legit and it don't pertain to us, shit gonna crumble. That's the situation we run into every time, every single time. Why these motherfuckers getting away with the shit they get away with? Because right here, this foundation that says that we can. You know, so blow that whole shit up, man.
And that go back to what James was saying about accountability, like the ones who are out here killing people and shit, like they're not being held accountable. You know what I'm saying? Like Breonna Taylor, like they just passed the Breonna Taylor law.
And yet,
But how you pass a law,
still free?
but the people who killed her ain't locked up?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You named this law to this woman,
Still working on
but
it.
the people who did this to her,
They're still working too, right?
I don't know if
I
they're
don't know if
working.
they still
I know they
working,
ain't in
but
jail.
Yeah.
They free. That's
Exactly.
and she's
And another thing too is I believe, like we was talking about in the last episode, even when you make a law, when you have a police force that's making decisions in house, they go around these laws. It needs to be an outside entity that's passing judgment on the police force, a community wide. It has to be.
and because I feel like it's
like me passing judgment on my best friend. You're
But
not gonna be.
That need to
And
be
so I'm
separate.
sure you're supposed
No,
to
I'm
That need to
not.
be separate from the police force.
They have to be. They need to be
Because
a
I don't feel
community
like-
based.
But let me ask you
community-based,
this: you know how like everybody, for instance, lawyers, they are what they do and how they practice, all that stuff is overseen by somebody.
Yeah.
Teachers, we're evaluated based on our job. Principals, doctors, all these people are evaluated and monitored based on what they do. How are the police officers monitored? How are they checked? How are they?
It's done.
They
I
are
mean,
in
it's
the
supposed to be
house.
done.
It's
It's supposed to be done
in-house.
internally.
It's done in house.
But how's it? How's
You
it
need an
being done?
outside source to police the police.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I mean,
Like Derek Chauvin, 16 reparations, and why is he even still on the force? Who's
Yeah, he had like
holding him
17
accountable?
reports.
Yeah, man, come on, man. There
And
needs
it's
to be
like-
somebody on the outside saying this is
ain't
not
got- I
acceptable.
feel
this
like
ain't the
you
first
get
death
3,
that he's
4
been
reports.
involved in either.
You get 3-4 reports in a regular job. That's
You're
it.
done.
Yeah.
You're done.
That's it. So how? Yeah, and that's a good question. How is it that this man has all of these things?
But
And
the
there's so many times where you look at situations like this small. If somebody just would have stepped up, you know, George Floyd would still be alive. If somebody
So
would
many.
just
So many. I want
And I don't believe you're gonna just get rid of racism, but when you hold people accountable, they're like a
Give them a little bit of
kid.
hesitation.
If they know
Yeah.
they can go as far as they want to do it, they're gonna push the boundary.
I feel like it's
You
just
gotta
how,
hold them accountable.
It's just how like when President Obama was in office. No, these races weren't gone; they were still there. But how is it that you had 8 years where President Obama was in office and it seemed fairly peaceful? Then, as soon as Donald Trump comes in, who is kind of like saying all these reckless things, then it's like the masses come out, and it's just
because
like
he gave
wow.
them a voice.
and you
He
gave
gave
them
them
power,
a voice.
and you gave
He's
them
like, oh,
this,
the president,
this
president can say this. He can get away with it.
yeah.
You know.
And so now you look at what you have right now. So
But the legal system itself is flawed terribly. I mean, I had a cousin that was involved in a case back in Atlanta, and a lawyer that was representing him after his case was over, he found out that the same lawyer that represented him went to lunch with the DA, the assistant DA, the judge. They all, I mean, you see what I'm saying? It's like, not saying that they can't, because they work
They can't
together.
have a relationship.
Not saying they can't have a relationship, but if you got a DA and then just say you got a public defender, the public defender works with the DA. They hand to hand. They good boys together because they hang out together. They eat dinner together. They work with each other. So it has to be a way to correct the way the justice system, the legal system works. Just because we work together, I may have to agree with you and be on the same page with you all the time.
So bottom line, how do we stop this repetitive pattern of seeing this constantly happen over and over again?
The first thing, like you were saying earlier, like the policemen who are doing these things, like they have to be held accountable.
Yeah.
Because if you start doing that, it'll slow down. Just like you were saying about kids, like kids know they got limits. You know what I'm saying? They know there's a punishment for this certain action. Yeah, but because if you look at what's his name, the policeman who was kneeling on his neck, man. If you look at his face when he was doing it, he wasn't worried about nothing. Like look at him, like he knew that he was gonna get away with what he was doing.
He knew what he thought he was gonna be able to get away.
You know what I'm saying? And if motherfuckers ain't take it to the streets like they did, maybe he did get away with it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he does get away with it. You know, so many people have.
But then that goes back because it was 3 other officers there. That goes back to the fact that
and then one of the officers checked him.
If you were a good cop, check him.
Yeah. And then they also had some police had this thing where, you know, it's, I don't know, it's kind of like family business thing. You know, they don't want to air out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to keep it in the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody want to check it.
That's that brotherhood shit. And this would trips me out because I understand, like, I was in the military. And a lot of the guys out in the military, I do consider them my brothers. But at the same time, if you fucked up, we check each other. You know, the police force look at this as themselves as a fraternity of brothers. And they're not gonna, no matter what, I'm gonna stand by my brother. But if your brother wrong, you gotta check him.
And it's not about you embarrassing him, but it's the same way. Like, you my frat brother. If you see me out in public acting a fool, acting crazy, I don't expect for you to walk.
Bro.
I don't expect for you to walk up and like smack you inside the head or anything like that. But I know for a fact he will be like, "Say, bro, you need to check this."
But I don't know if they don't do that behind closed doors. They might check Sharp behind closed doors.
But
who's holding him accountable to stop doing this?
But I'm saying
the penalty.
He would check me in public. It's not that he's embarrassing me, and he's not going to disrespect me, but he's going to check me in public. And it's not gonna be out of line. And I feel like they could have easily been like, after clearly he's not moving, he's not doing anything. One of them, instead of blocking off the crowd or all that foolishness, they could have easily been like, all right, we good.
Like he was on his man's neck for a long ass time. Like somebody could have said, "Yo, bro, like that's enough." You know what I'm saying? Like,
and made it
that's
like
at least one of them.
I don't think it's gonna stop until they start seeing harsh penalties. He needs to get the death penalty or something. But they need to see like, wow.
I don't think he should get the death penalty because death is an easy release and break from what you did. I feel like he deserves to suffer for the rest of his life.
I think death will give him the message. They'll send the message.
In prison with the real niggas, man.
Yeah,
that's all.
Let
That's
him
all.
get his ass every day.
Gen Pod.
That's all they gotta do. That's all we gotta do. I'm just and another reason, just that I ain't backing the cats up or anything, bumping the cats. But Shaw was probably the senior person out there.
He probably
was.
He was.
You know what I'm saying?
But still, they still don't give you a right.
Absolutely.
That's not
so
saying.
That's why I don't know. The dude was a new guy on the beat. I don't know how he could have slipped the shot. And the other ones could have.
Look, I'm gonna tell you something.
It's like his fourth day on the job.
That doesn't matter though. Look, bro, I was a military police officer. And coming out of school, being a rookie on the force, if I seen somebody doing something wrong that I thought was wrong, I'm speaking up. I'm a rookie, but still, I'm still gonna speak up. But let you know, I'm not standing for that shit.
Right, but that's you though.
Yeah, everybody.
Everybody, like I'm saying, like we agree. You know what I'm saying? Like even though, like when you first become a member of your organization, you know what I'm saying? Like we have I'm sure everybody have different sayings about, everybody's equal within the organization. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to step to an older brother if you know that he's doing wrong. But everybody internally ain't built that way. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't, like you don't, especially like that's his 4th day on the job. Yeah. My 4th day being a member of Kappa Alpha Psi, I don't know if I'm a step to. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm trying to blame
even though the movie Training Day, when the white dude was riding with Denzel, he riding around doing drug deals, telling him to smoke stuff.
Yeah,
that was his first day. He didn't know what to do.
And I'm not down in no organization.
But that's for anything, though. I'm just putting the organization as an example. That's for anything.
Fraternity and policing, that's just because them. I mean, those brothers.
It's two totally different sets. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
They took an oath to fucking protect and serve. Bro.
Right. You're right.
And if you see a motherfucker's life in order, your first job is to protect that person. Mm-hmm. You took an oath to protect. Mm-hmm. So if Trey got hit, if Trey beat the shit out of a motherfucker, I'm like, damn, that's a little bit too much. I don't give a damn if it's my goddamn first day or my 999th day. It's my duty
to say something.
Say something.
You're right.
The level of respect that people have for law enforcement, it's like
because they
respect law enforcement, they treat you with respect. Mm-hmm. You know, hell, we were driving home one day and got pulled over for making a illegal U-turn. Cop pulled us over and was like, "What's your ID?" You know, that was a legal U-turn. He didn't know. I said the sign wasn't there. And remember, and he pulled my stuff. Was like, yeah, "Give me a few minutes." He went. Came back 3 minutes later, you gonna get a fine, and sure enough, the fine popped up on the phone. I was like, oh damn, I got a fine for illegal U-turn. And he was just like, have a good day, brother, have a good one. And it was just pleasant and shit. And we driving off, and it's like, damn, bro, that's the first time I wasn't on the steering wheel like this, tense as hell, and being berated. Because even when they come up to you as a respectful professional, they're shitting on you back at home. Yeah. They're talking down to you. He never did that. But they came to you. And I've had to we had to go in and pay traffic fines and stuff like that. To go in the police station is an uncomfortable thing. Even now, for me, anywhere.
Yeah. But when you go in and hear, you should be like, I should feel uncomfortable.
What can I do for you? What you need? How are you? Like the first time I was here, I think I had been here like 2 weeks, and I tell people like a cop pulled me over, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh shit, what's gonna happen to me? And the cop goes, listen, where are you from? The sun is shining.
Police.
He was like, not too hot. And I looked and just started laughing. He was like, there we go, beautiful. Yes, smile. You have a good day. And I was just like, this is my interaction with the cops.
Police.
And then I ran into I swiped the pole, and the police had to come. And the police officer was like, what happened? I was like, I was looking at my phone. I hit the pole. He was like, brother, don't look at your phone. I was like, yeah, I know. He was like, okay, you okay? You need to? No. He was like, okay, here reports. Get your car fixed. Have a good day. That was it. There wasn't no fussing, no disrespect. You checking on me, making sure I'm good, even though I'm all the way wrong.
But that's what I'm saying. So that's kind of part of my question, though. Is that the bubble? Because we're not living in a.
I see what you're saying.
I'm saying we're living in a quasi-democratic state.
No.
But not really. I'm saying, and they got cameras everywhere, and your ID is linked to you. So generally, you're not doing no crime.
Let me tell you
I'm
why.
saying, is that the bubble?
Let me tell you why it's not a bubble, dog. Because we didn't see the shit. We didn't see life in the United States.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a bubble.
Listen, we black kings. We black kings, dog. This shit right here is like how shit's supposed to be done. Yeah. This is the respect that we're owed. So I ain't calling this no bubble, dog. No.
That's a bubble.
That's
a bubble.
That's the question.
And then the amount of times that people tell you, like, the amount of times I've heard here, well, welcome home, and stuff like that. Like, you don't know me from Canada. You don't know anything about me, but for the fact that you like, welcome to your home. Like, I want you to make sure you happy here. You comfortable. And I mean, you deal with stuff here like you would deal with stuff anywhere, but it's like, I look at the things that I have to deal with here, and I'm like, the problem was resolved in such and such number of days. Whereas in the U.S., it's every single day I wake up, I gotta follow a certain a certain guideline
You gotta
as to how to
get
carry
dressed,
myself.
and then you gotta
And
put
I'm
on
not
your
doing that
how
wrong.
you deal with the
And
world.
it's kind of funny you say that because, remember a police officer stayed next to me at another building. And so he'd be like, check on me, So, no, go have fun, just do what you do. Like, I started my son living there. So I started like, hey, I'm at a party. Like, oh, no problem. You cool. Be loud as you want.
Yes,
You can't do that shit in a house. Right.
It's like a little funny story because I had to think about what you guys were just talking about, your interaction with the police here. So, me coming from where I came from, I'm so adjusted to being tense with the police. My first interaction with the police, I was that angry, still tense person, and I had to like evaluate during the course of what was going on. Like,
the calculate.
this guy ain't even really like. Let me calm my ass down. Cause I'm like, I came out the car on 1,000, like how you would just how I want to deal with the police back home, but I can't. Cause if I get out the car like that back home, that's it. It's done. It's a wrap. Yeah. So I did something on a highway coming from Dubai here or whatever, and the police pulled me over. I got out the car. I'm like, what the fuck I do? I'm like, I'm just talking loud and reckless in the car. And he's like, calm down. Your tires though, you need that.
And he's telling you something that'll save your life.
You just feel like,
your tires though, you need air. I'm like, looking at the tire now, I'm feeling this small because I done got in the car acting a donkey. And I'm saying, all y'all know me. I'm that guy, y'all. So
be that guy.
this dude was like, brother, come down. The tire is all you need.
Oh, I forgot. I got a story here about going to the police station.
Oh, when you got arrested?
I didn't get arrested.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
No, I didn't get arrested. No. So this is some years back. This is about 30 years, I think, charge. And the guy, second up in here. So we was at a club, and so this guy, so I walked behind him and I stole his wallet. Security came got me. That time getting irate. I'm like, accuse me of stealing, bro. I ain't no thief. So ended up going downstairs and the cops, like I said, they called over there. So I was just outside waiting for a cab. And then the cop, somebody pointed at me, he was like, so he grabbed me and I jerked. He was like, well, just sit in the car. So sat in the back of the car, I guess he was talking to the guys, and my homeboy asked, can he get in the car too and ride with me down. So he ended up jumping in the back with me.
Hell no.
It was crazy.
Hey, can I catch a ride?
Don't ride with
So we ended up, he was about an hour out there. So we ended up going down to the station, right? And so they did it, I think they said they fingerprint you, I think. But then like the guy, the head guy, yeah. So the other guy, the head guy, I guess was in there. He was just cracking because like I said, this is when I asked about a bubble. He's like, where you from? I said, America. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So we going back and forth. He asked me about places. I mean, it was just, I ain't like being down there accused of something I knew, but I literally just felt comfortable. I'm sitting there, some guy got beat up. I never got put in handcuffs and nothing like that. I never really felt disrespected except when the guy kind of grabbed me and I yanked, but he didn't go for me.
He didn't react.
Right, he didn't react. I ain't like this, like, don't touch me. Like, what I'm saying? I followed his directions, but I got down there, like I said, never in handcuffs in the back of the truck. I had my phone, talking, and then the guy who was supposed to come down who said I stole, but found his wallet in the car, so I was like, he said, this is your time. He said, this is crazy. Just go.
Like I was like 9 years old. I had a basketball hoop in my yard, and I lived on like a little dead end street, so it wasn't a lot of traffic. So one time a black cop came in, came to the dead end, circled around, came back around me. I was shooting baskets. Black cop came out there, started rapping with me. So let me see the ball. So he shot that bitch from like 40 feet away, boom, all net. So I was like, all right, cool, police, cool. Now, my first real encounter was like after my freshman year. I came home. from school. I was visiting my people over at University of South Florida in town, and I went to FAMU, so came down. So me and my partner walking, you know, and
Right.
then TPD come up. It ain't even school security. USF police. TPD pull up, corner us in. You know what I'm saying? Say, hey, what y'all doing? Where y'all going? You know. So we finna walk to my boy dorm right here. What's up? You know. So we ended up, man, being illegally frisked. They laid my boy down on the ground, frisking him. You know what I'm saying? Just because it was like, well, we heard of robbery, and I was like, he's like, what's your name? I gave him my name. He's like, yeah. The person was Travaris Thomas. I was like, who? I was like, spell his name. You know what I'm saying? So he legally frisked me. I don't know, but I'm 18, so I'm consenting this shit. He legally found a little pocket knife for my boy. Why they did that shit, and, you know, had us hemmed up, and it was just crazy shit. You know, if it wasn't for us being college students, knowing how to talk to motherfuckers, that shit could have got ugly. You know, so that was just my first encounter, man, and might not be as bad as the rest of y'all.
No, that's bad, bro. Y'all were profiled then. Yeah. Anytime you profile is bad.
I think my first experience, positive, it was like when the day officers used to come into school, talk to us about like drugs and stuff like that. And I looked at them assuming like, okay, they're a cop's job is to kind of like encourage you to be a better person. But my first experience where it was just me by myself, I was walking home from the bus stop and I looked behind me and a cop was following me. So I wasn't far from my house. I just walked into my house. He sat outside my house and waited until I locked the door, went inside, locked the door back, and shut off the blinds. And then I found out later, one of my neighbors had called the police on me because they saw me walking in the street, walking in the neighborhood. We had only been living there for 2 months, 2 or 3 months. But my thing is, why would you call the cops on? Clearly, I just got off the bus. I had a big ass cello on the side of me, a book sack. I'm like this fat chubby kid. Like there's nothing threatening about me.
Wait, so you stole a cello?
And that's the other thing.
Wow!
I'm walking slowly. We were like with a cello, book sack on my back, and it was just like yeah, like the fact that they called the police on me, and I'm like,
Hey, that's a felony. You know that, right?
You the first carry case.
Wait. That's a felony. As a low brass specialist, trombone, baritone, tuba, a cello costs a grip.
Oh, yeah.
You was over $1,000 on that, buddy.
That's a felony.
And it's like, you know, but I think, and it took me back, and I told my parents about it because we had just moved to that neighborhood. We had moved from the black side of town, and I remember as we were driving from the black side to the new side, I told my mom, I was like, Mom, when we get to this neighborhood, these people not gonna want us there. What are we gonna do when they start harassing us? Even if I go back to my house now at 30 years old, my mom and dad, because you know, when I go visit them for the summer, even now my parents will say, "What are you about to do?" "Oh, I'm gonna go walk around outside real quick." Nah, it's 7 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock. No, you need to stay inside. I'm a grown man, and my parents are not worried about I'm gonna do something wrong. They're worried about can I come home now, and so that's just my experience living in that neighborhood.
My first experience, at the time, well, I ain't gonna give you know that, but I got pulled over by the sheriff. I don't know if we talked about this in part 1, I don't remember, but I'm from a small town, like everybody know everybody where I'm from. And so I got pulled over by the sheriff. But I remember when we was walking towards his car, I remember he had his hand on his hip. Like he had his hand on the thing, and I'm like, why does he have his hand on? But when he came up to the window, he saw who I was and relaxed. But I remember, like, if I could have been anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you approaching the car like that? And but like I said, like my dad was a high school coach. Everybody knew everybody, so once he recognized who I was, he kind of relaxed. But I had another experience down the street from where I live. It's like a known roadblock place. And I'll never forget, I think it was like Sunday afternoon or something, and I was leaving open gym. And I was riding home, and then there's a roadblock. All right, whatever. I pull up, and it's like just 3 cops just like surround the car. Like the shit was so uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like I gave them my license and registration. You know what I'm saying? They let me go about my business, but like why y'all surrounding the car like this? Like I don't know. This shit was very very uncomfortable. I do remember that. Luckily, like I said, I wasn't the person that they were looking for, so everything worked out. But I don't know. It just felt like a lot of pressure for no reason.
I would say I have my first one-on-one experience with police, like when they came into the schools and things like that. But that really wasn't an experience where I was just directly dealing with a police officer. We had an officer move into our neighborhood. That was my first experience. I got a car when I was 17, senior year of high school. I had a curfew. We had a straightaway in my neighborhood and there was a stop sign, and I would just kind of roll through it or whatever, however you want to call it.
Trying to get maximum speed.
But,
right?
yeah, so he would always be in this little cul-de-sac off in the cut from his house. And he would come out at like 11, 12, midnight or whatever. My curfew was like 11 or whatever. I'm trying to get home as fast as I can. So he turned on the lights, but I'm almost home. So I'm a 7th year. I'm just thinking, damn, let me just get home. Maybe I can beat him to my house before he get out. So he take off and I take off, and I park in my car. I park in my house. He get out. I get out running the house, but he pull in the driveway. He come to the front door, knock on the door. Dad bring me to the front door. I get in trouble for that. Apologize or whatever. That was my first interaction. My second, and I wouldn't say it's a interaction, but it was when I went to college. I went to Florida State. I was in Tallahassee. And if anybody knows South Georgia towns, driving through those towns, they looking for you. And
what you doing, boy?
I don't know if it was just the officer I encountered or where I was light skinned, but I've been stopped several times in South Georgia. But the times I was stopped, it would be one officer come to the car. He would shine the lights in the back of the window, but he would come up. But a lot of times I would be bringing my friends with me. But the time I had all my friends in the car, we all black. There's 3 in the back, so it's 5 of us total. That was a totally different experience. He shined lights in the back, he called him back up. His 4 cars surrounded for a speeding charge. And it just turned into an hour-long ordeal. And I just thought it was a little bit unnecessary. That's South Georgia, and I also grew up in Fayetteville, which is a white suburb in South Atlanta. But I find that in Fayetteville, they sit on the county line because we're connected to Clayton County. So we're connected to Riverdale. So if you coming into Fayetteville past midnight, they have almost like a border set up at the Fayetteville line. So if you black or if you anybody coming into Fayetteville, they finna stop you. And they finna ask you what you doing, where you going, that's just the procedure. So if you black, it's an ordeal trying to come back into Fayetteville, especially if you coming in at midnight. So those are my 2 consistent ordeals with police, and I find it. I don't believe they weren't positive because I would be riding with white boys back in the field. I didn't feel like they got their same treatment. That's just what it is. If you drive a certain car in the Fayetteville, you finna get stopped. It's just protocol.
Yeah, because when I was at Clemson, my second year, I used to have a 93 act. And then but I was having some problems with it, so my mom gave me her car. I'm 3 hours away. She wanted me to have a reliable vehicle, and so it was a 2006 Impala, right? So fairly new. I got pulled over a couple times, and they asked "Whose car is this?" But it was my car. It was
yeah.
My parents own this car. You know what I'm saying? It was just but that's all they wanted to know. You know what I'm saying? It was "Whose car is this?" Showing my stuff. I'm just why are you pulling me over? You know what I'm saying? Was I speeding or did I miss a light or something? You know what I'm saying?
That's very cool.
But yeah, but some of the stuff is just excessive, man. My sophomore year, I had a roommate who falsely, well, I don't know if that's the right term, but someone claimed that he did something that he didn't do. And the police, man, they pulled up to the house. There was 2 in the front, 2 in the back. They had shotguns. Like, it was all up in our rooms going through our stuff. I was just like, yo, like, what is happening? Before anybody explained anything, they was already getting to it. Now, in my adult mind, I know that was illegal. You know what I'm saying? But back then, when you 18, 19, the police show up, you just like, and they got guns, you know what I'm saying? You just like, y'all do whatever. But it's crazy, man.
Yeah. So I was thinking about what you said, the question that you asked, and I don't ever remember having a good experience with police officers. Not growing up.
No, you gonna hear shit now.
I'm just saying. No, because some of the guys on the panel said that they had some good experience. I don't never remember having a good experience with a police officer. And like my first experience I ever had in my life with a police officer, we were like 9, 10 on the basketball court. Police roll up, we on the basketball, actually shooting basketball, and they put everybody on the ground. Went through our pockets, everything. So, okay, so a good experience with the police officer. Elementary school, y'all remember McGruff? The crime dog?
Yeah.
They came to the school, they let us sit in the police car, they put the lights on and everything. That's a good experience for me. That was my growing up.
Somebody say that's my like
But
first
to me,
experience.
those don't count. That's not a personal
Well,
experience.
Bro,
But I'm saying,
they made us sit in the back seat, so it was like training.
Really?
Sit in the back seat real
But no,
quick.
I
Y'all
answered-
black
Get
people.
used to it, nigga.
I answered that, but I mean, just say, if I had to name a good experience
That'd
with
be
a police,
only one.
that would be my only one.
Cause like
That's
I never
dope,
for me,
though.
I was gonna say that like Officer Friendly was the one. I never forget that. I think that for a long time, Officer Friendly. Then when you grow up, you're like, oh. But like in
That
Atlanta, I
motherfucker
haven't had any bad interactions with that's but they weren't even bad either. Like in Florida now, it was a lot of the profiling, and that was the profiling. You go in the stores, people following you around. That's not police, that's just people. And then in Florida, like especially Daytona, after a certain time, you go on the beach side, they gonna stop you. It was like, where you going? Where you coming from? What you doing? Everything good. Everything been. I still on this side of the road. I never forget. This talk to this officer about 3 hours. He asked me, I'm just going on and on. Yeah. You serious? I gotta go. But I'm young, so okay. I'm talking. That's for me. It's just the profiling, especially in Florida, the profiling. See, they're gonna hold you.
Shit, like it could have been anyone else. Could have been like, it's
It's been all of us.
yeah, I mean, because
Everybody don't have that profile.
what I'm saying, like either one of us could have been any one of those brothers who've been taken. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
Like I remember
He's a good
learning
man.
how you can tell when your license is being read because of the amount of times that I'll see like a cop pull up behind me and they just stay there and I'm like, why are you following me? But I don't need your help. And but then there have been times where I actually needed a cop's help. Where are you? I'm trying to flag you down, stuff like that. Help me. Your ass gone. And it's just like, but the amount of times like cops would follow me into my parents' neighborhood when I had my house in the States. They would follow me into that neighborhood. And it's just like, I feel like there's so many other ways to figure out what I'm doing without making me know just how much you hate me and want for me to be doing something wrong.
Right.
Yeah. But you know what's funny though? You said there have been times that you needed a cop and there was no cop to be found. Mm-hmm. I know brothers that needed help from a cop and they was like, I'm not even calling the cop.
But there's a lot of situations that a guy in California, his parents called, he was having a mental break and they shot him 18 times in the back. He was in his backyard.
Yeah.
And so he was filming too, and it's a gun. I mean, the constant thing is like, just for them always, when I fear for my life, but you the only one with a gun. You the one with training.
They kill me with that bullshit. I'm doing this for your safety and my safety. If you got a taser, a gun, a fucking baton stick, a flashlight that can be used as a
And
weapon,
it's usually
A
more than
vest.
one of y'all.
a vest, and then you got that radio right here where you can get 100 motherfuckers here in
2 seconds.
under 2 minutes. So how in the hell you feel like you unsafe?
I know, like in Virginia, when I was in college, you broke, you don't got no money, and so like I remember for the longest time, like one of my headlights was out, so I used to have my bright light shining, because then it didn't look like my headlight was out. And I remember a cop pulled me over for it, and he made me sit there for about 15 minutes, and then 2 more cops pulled up, and then he got out and told me what I had done wrong. But the whole time I'm sitting there like, bruh, I mean, in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's the headlight. It's gonna be a few minutes for you to come here, either issue me a warning or give me a ticket for having this headlight. But the fact that it took him, I asked him, I was like, why are you calling so many people if it's just a headlight? He was like, that's just protocol. And like a few weeks, and I think a few weeks after that, they pulled me over. They said I didn't stop at the stop sign long enough. They said I took a pause and then I went. I was like, what does that even mean? And in that instance, it was 2 cops that came to issue the ticket. And so I had to wait. I had the original police officer, and I had to wait for another police officer to come and call back up, and then they came to my car. But it's like, why does it take all that for something as simple as a headlight, or I feel you need to stop long?
And they always blame for backup. It's I see I do that to them too.
But look,
A white person.
and when you're a police officer and you call for backup, when you take an assignment to patrol a certain area, I don't give a fuck if it's a small rural area or if it's a couple of city blocks. You already know they give you in your roll call listing what other police officers are going to be patrolling the adjacent blocks or adjacent areas. So if I pull you over and it's just you, it's protocol that I should have backup, even on a traffic stop. I can just call him though. I ain't gotta call you, and you, and you. Hey, car 93. I know you're in the area. Come on over.
But see, for me, like I can't believe that, because every time I've been pulled over in Louisiana, it's usually one cop. One cop pulled me over, and I mean, granted, it's been a lot of times where I got pulled over, and it was just like one time some guy told me, he said, "Your license plate frame is too big."
It's
I was like,
I
was like, but the thing was, it wasn't, and I was like, sir, I had the same license plate frame for 8 years. No, it's not.
See, that's one of those shits. Cause it
They just looking
it
for
is
a
a
reason
law,
to keep you.
but that's one of the things that we talking about. Cause law falls up on the interpretation. Going the Supreme Court said one goddamn judge can interpret something different than another judge. The same thing with the police officer. It states that your license plate should not be instructed for plain view. And what's to be viewed on your license plate is your license plate number and your decal. And depending on where you stay at, it's a yearly decal or a 6-month decal or whatever. That should be visibly in sight. But a lot of police officers, they say, "Oh, he got a frame around his tag."
It's not
instructed in the video. So it's interpretation. And law shouldn't be interpreted, it should be factual.
But I remember when that cop pulled me over, because this was right after I think this is right after Philando Castile died. So when he pulled me over, as soon as I saw those lights, I had my phone. I called my best friend, and I set my phone right here. And as I rolled down the window and started talking to him, I was like, "Hey, Whitney, can you hear? Because the cop is right here right now." And then I looked at him and said, "How are you doing?" And he looked down like, oh. And it was just like a complete shift in what he was about to do.
And see, that cop recognized the fact that, okay, it's a third party that's not maybe not visually witness what's going on, but they can hear what's going on. So now social media done kicked in to the point where you got cops out there know they're being filmed. Hell, the cops are wearing body cams. They got dashboard cams. And any major city you go in, and you go on any city block, it's probably at least 90 cameras pointing at you from different angles. But they don't give a fuck about that.
But that's what makes this, I think, hopefully. Now, like the cops in Minneapolis, they got fired for not having body cams.
But that's what we talking about. Why now though? Because it's been plenty brothers killed.
It's 8 minutes.
What made this one the special one?
Chappelle said it's 8 minutes 46 seconds. I think. I've always said it's still at the top.
This is the first time we seen.
No.
seen
We
people
ain't seen
shot.
it this blatant.
Listen to what I'm saying. Don't say no yet. We seen people shot. We seen them choke brothers out. We seen them slam brothers out. Well, you have never actually witnessed from point A to point Z the actual
Torture,
murder
exactly.
and torture of a motherfucker.
And this is
8
the one-
minutes or 46, somebody
Yeah.
like that.
And this is the one that nobody could be like, well, what happened before?
Bro,
The 8 minutes,
And then-
8 minutes, 46 seconds.
You
ago,
could,
all
they
that.
they showed what happened before because you saw like I know the thing that killed me was just like when you look at that video, you say to yourself as a black man, what more could he have? There's nothing else he could have done.
But to me, it didn't
Regardless,
even matter what he
yeah.
did. You
Regardless,
had him
yeah,
restrained.
Exactly.
It's
It's
over.
over.
It's over.
Exactly. It was already in the
That ain't your job to be the
Exact
jury
same
and
way in the
executioner
car,
as a
and then they took
policeman.
him
It don't matter. It don't
And he
matter
was-
what
he was
happened
peaceful.
before.
Yeah.
When the camera stopped, y'all got the man restrained.
Right.
Yeah, it's no need. It's collapse. It's
I'll
whatever.
say like this, man. It ain't.
And so I say that to say like, what more do you want us to do?
I'm saying I think the one this hit because it's 8 minutes and 46 seconds of somebody getting slowly murdered. Keep going
Nobody,
back to Edmund Pettis Bridge.
nobody should ever die in police custody, bro. This motherfucker Dylan Roof
Yeah.
went and shot up motherfuckers in the church.
And they took him to
That's
Burger
his
King.
birthday.
Bro, after he killed motherfuckers, dog.
But he went to first
This-
Black Baptist
This
church
man
to do
killed
it.
people,
He didn't do it at
and
First
they did
Baptist.
not kill him.
He walked out.
They tell him good job.
Matter of fact, when they took him in
So
custody.
there's no excuse to kill any man that's in
Hey, look,
custody.
check this out. Matter of fact, when they took him in custody, they put a bulletproof vest
Yeah,
over him.
yeah.
The guy that
How the
killed,
fuck you trying to protect this motherfucker?
hey, the guy Stoneman Douglas. He killed 16 kids, something like that. 16
Oh, you
kids.
talking about in Connecticut?
No, Stoneman Douglas in Florida.
Florida.
Yeah, remember that one that just I think that was
About
one
2
of the
years
last
ago.
ones, too. They found him. He had dropped. They didn't kill him.
No.
They went by him and they didn't shoot him.
The motherfucker that shot up the goddamn movie theater.
The
And
elementary.
he-
They all
and
go
he
to
had an
jail,
arsenal.
bro.
Hey, he
They
had
all go to
he had
jail.
an arsenal on him when they.
Listen, they all go to jail. How the fuck Jeffrey Dahmer get to jail? They all go to jail. You see what I'm saying? But a brother selling cigarettes don't make it to the jailhouse.
But down there, like the one, and this is goes to the police just being too traumatic. Y'all ever seen the one in the hallway in the motel?
White dude.
Yeah, the white
Yeah,
dude
yeah,
called and say, "Come to us, call to us." He's calling with his
Shot his
pants.
ass anyway.
His pants, he's trying to pull his pants up so he
When they
can
shot him. Yeah.
point blank.
But look,
But you told me, call to you, so I'm trying to,
Do what you said.
listen, check this out. The next, when y'all go home, go back and look at George Floyd video again. So when you actually die, your body does one last thing, it defecates. I want you to go back and look at that video and watch when the pitch started running from the truck, what time it is then. So we talking about 8 minutes and 46 seconds. George was dead before 8:46.
Oh yeah, I mean,
It was
they
piss running from under the truck.
Remember, they checked his pulse.
You feel what I'm saying?
Another 2 minutes.
So for you to defecate, you're dead.
But they checked his pulse. Remember, that's another 2 minutes it runs. That's why I think this one hit so hard. I think, and it was a series of 3. We saw it on Marvin, but it wasn't cops. One guy
Yeah.
acted like a cop, but wasn't cops. But it's still blurry. It's a brutal film. You don't know if the guy killed from aggression or what's his name? Or Ray did it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, because he ran all around.
yeah, so it's got a.
It wasn't a clear picture.
This one,
This shit was clear. Up in
it's
your
an
face.
execution, and the
You
guy
could
lost
hear
his
him.
mother. And then we find out his mother had been dead for years.
Yeah.
I think that just really is like it hit on so many strings.
Bro, I
of,
seen
like,
that on YouTube and I thought about it like, dang.
it hit on so
He
many
called for his
strings.
mama. His mama been dead.
And I remember somebody talking
You
about
struggling,
when
bro.
he called for
When you
his
call for
mom,
your mama.
it was almost as if like
You
his
was
mom,
Yeah.
his mom was like they
Standing
saying,
there, witnessing the
just
shit.
come on,
Yeah.
I got you. And it's just like, for you to put, I don't know how you can consider yourself a human being to see that, watch that, and say there's not an issue, there's not a problem. Like there's something mentally wrong with you. If you can be okay with saying there's not a problem.
There's nothing mentally wrong with it, but those people are like that. They've been like that. This country was built from rape, robbing, and pillage. They came over here doing this shit. And when you are this goes back to DNA. When you've done something so long, for such a long period of time, it's not learned. It's instinctual. It's in you now.
It's genetic, yeah.
It's in you. When you got 17 generations of people that's being robbing, stealing, and killing, that shit is in you.
But flip that coin over. You also got those same generations of people being victims of that.
Yeah, and we fed up. We fucking no, we past fed up.
Mm-hmm.
And then people they say like we are not our ancestors. No, this is because like one thing I would never allow anyone to do is disrespect what my ancestors did for me, my siblings, my cousins, and I, because we were afforded so many opportunities because of everything they sacrificed. It's just that they tried to do it peacefully. Y'all refused to listen. So now it's changing. Now we're gonna show you what's been building up in us for centuries.
But you know what? To that point, even this one, there's been some riots and stuff like that, and there's also some peaceful protesting. But I think this is gonna be the last peaceful one.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
this shit,
I think because like we are,
and
it's like if we kind of got this feeling like shit might start changing. You know what I'm saying? Like we kind of feeling good about the whole movement and everything, but I got a feeling if this shit happen again, man, it's going down, bro.
I've been
And
having
I don't know.
like that. And I think too, if those meaningful reforms don't get put in place, and we see some mess like this again, the cop doesn't get prosecuted or whatever, he's not in jail, it's gonna burn. You think this is burning?
Listen, this is like and I'm not trying to compare or anything. I'm just saying this is it's a comparison. This is on the same level as a woman staying with a man that done beat her. All her friends telling her you need to leave. But for whatever reason she gonna stay until she gets to that fucking point. Like, this is it. And she will tell your ass, I've had enough, this is it. That's where we're at now.
I don't have the time, bro, I don't wear a watch. I'ma move regardless, just like the clock. Been around here before, I've been on this block. 25 to life bit, I live on this rock. Planet Mars, dog, my planet raw. Took trips and landed far. Took hits I can't ignore. My chest got a black hole. I dealt with a black crow. White dove, a black soul. Wipe off my past clothes. I try to get away from it, not trying to let the vapors in. Time fly when you wasting it. Fast life, I was racing it, and I knew I had to pay for it. Always knew that I was made for this. My path, I paved the shit. My path, my grave in it. So past lives, they hover over like crows. Just like I hover over my code. All hail, almighty freedom I chose. Tall tales, my eyes see to my road. Don't look at the clock, I don't even got time. I seen people ride, I seen people stop, I seen people let it pass by. I seen evil, maybe that's why. I see needles next to that wine. I seen demons and I seen signs. I need reason, you don't need mine. Once I took a roll of that dice, that shit took control of my life. Twice I paid the toll for that price. Nights and days, hoping I fight. Knives and blades, open my sight. Guide the way over my spite. I was made as I was built. Flowers fade and flowers wilt. Tilt. Past lives, they hover over like crows. Just like I hover over my code. All hail, almighty freedom I chose. Tall tales, my eyes see to my road. And send you back home. My God of peace, my God of war, my own. So much I've been shown. All hail, almighty freedom I roam.